everyone, George Ramblin' Man here. Hope everybody's doing well. It's been a while. I haven't made a vlog in quite some time. And really hadn't been out on my bike that much lately, but it is a beautiful, sunny, late January day here in North Georgia. It's about 50 degrees, which is about my limit. I don't ride if it gets much lower than that, but you know, I just haven't had a chance to ride that much between being busy with lots of things and life and just the weather. You know, we're lucky down here in the southeast where we can ride pretty much year round. I mean, I would guess that December, January, and February are probably the worst months of the year weather-wise, and so I don't ride as much, but just glad to be out today. And again, like I said, it's like 50 degrees here today, and a week before last I was in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I woke up one morning and it was 10 degrees, and I thought, man, that is cold. But that was balmy compared to last week when I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I woke up and it was minus 8 degrees. And, you know, that's really pretty tough. So, you know, you guys that live in the north, upper Midwest, New England, all my relatives up in Boston area are digging themselves out of a huge snowstorm this morning, so feel for them. But it's a pretty nice day. I've already seen some motorcycles out and about, and it's a pretty nice day to be out. I want to talk about the bike a little bit. I'm closing in on 1 year owning it, and I'll do a vlog pretty soon and kind of give you my 1 year impressions of everything on the bike. But I want to kind of cover a couple of things just related to touring, and I've had some comments and questions from some viewers from time to time about whether or not they think this Heritage Classic is a good touring bike, and there's lots of vlogs out there about that, but I'll give you my 2 cents worth. Back in October, and that's been a couple of months now, I was actually able to take a long weekend, rode up to North Carolina, met NC Stoney and one of his buddies from Archdale, and we rode around western North Carolina, Tennessee a little bit, and had a nice weekend. So I probably put, I don't know, 500 or 600 miles, maybe more, on the bike. We had good weather. It was a little bit cool, but we had good weather in October, and you know, I was able to ride all the way up there, meet them, and we were able to ride all day on a Saturday, and then I came back on Sunday. So that was my first really extended road trip on the Heritage, and here are my thoughts on some of my likes and dislikes regarding the 2020 Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic that I have here as it relates to touring. And the type of touring I do is pretty much like those weekends. It's going to be a long weekend here or there. I'm not really going to be taking this thing out on a week or 2 week trip that I can foresee. So that's kind of the touring that I'm talking about. And first of all, let me kind of tell you the things that I like about it. First of all, the overall comfort of the bike is just superb. You know, the riding position and the seat. Of course, I have an aftermarket Mustang seat on here and a backrest, which is something I highly recommend. Not necessarily the seat, but at least a backrest if you're going to be doing any extended riding, because out on the highway and going down long stretches of road, having a backrest to me has been really something that I've liked. I didn't have one on my previous bike, and I decided to get it on this one, and it has been super. I love it. So the comfort of the bike, the riding position, you know, I was thinking about getting some highway pegs to put on my engine guards here, but you know, I don't really think I need them. My feet are comfortable on these floorboards. The controls are kind of forward, and you got these big, nice, comfortable floorboards to rest your feet on. You can kind of move your feet around, so I don't have any problem whatsoever with the comfort of this bike. And you know, a lot of people say, oh, if you're going to go touring, you know, the bigger touring bikes are much more comfortable, you know, than the Heritage, and that might be true. But you know, for a long weekend, you know, my personal opinion is this bike is perfectly comfortable out on the road. So riding position and comfort, I give it an A+. Power, I've got the 114 Milwaukee 8 engine in this bike, and it is more than enough. You know, one of the reasons I chose the Heritage is because it's a little bit lighter than the Road King or the Street Glider, Road Glider, the bigger touring bikes, and so I like the lighter weight. I mean, it's not as lightweight as a Sportster or, you know, maybe even a Street Bob, but it's pretty light, easy to handle in slow speed situations, easy to park, easy to move around my garage. So the 114 motor in this thing is just more than enough. A lot of our riding over that weekend was on, you know, 2-lane roads kind of like this, but we did get in some, you know, I got in some interstate riding on the way back. I hit Interstate 40 through Asheville, North Carolina, and then came on down to where I live. So I did have a little bit of interstate riding, and there's, you know, this bike is just fine for power. If you need to pass, you need to go up a hill, and that's really one of the things I love about this bike. I mean, it's got torque in the low end and plenty of roll-on power, even when you're motoring down the road at a pretty good pace. So power's no good. I love the LED lights. You know, it comes with LED headlight and driving lamps, and of course I put the LED brake light and everything on it. And the few times that we did ride after dark, it was great. I mean, it was so much better than my old bike without the LED lights. And it makes me feel a little bit safer riding at night because it just puts out so much light, and I like that a lot. So that's a thumbs up on this bike. The cruise control, I mean, you can't beat it. You know, rides like this I'm taking right now, I'm not going to be using the cruise control hardly at all on roads like this, but you know, the little interstate stretch that I got on coming home, being able to sit back and put the cruise control on, give your hand a little rest, is to me is great. You know, I don't think I'll ever have another bike without cruise control, to be honest with you. I mean, that's a great option. ABS brakes, can't beat that. Just another safety feature I think is almost a must-have anymore. So overall, even for touring and you know, riding a couple 100 miles a day, I think this bike is perfectly comfortable. Now, I was riding solo, I did not have a passenger. So if it comes to touring and you've got a passenger, a lot of luggage, and you're, you know, maybe going to be doing some serious long distance riding, you know, maybe one of the big touring bikes like the Road Glider, the Ultra Classic or something like that would be better. And it probably would. But you know, for the type of touring that I'm doing, and if you're like me and your rides are kind of day rides, then a weekend here or there, I don't think you can go wrong with this particular motorcycle. The windshield offers great wind protection to me. I don't have any problem with the windshield. And one thing I do like about the Heritage, it's a little bit shorter. The windshield is a little bit shorter than, say, on the Road King. And at my height, I'm up right at 6 feet tall. And when I sit in the saddle here and I'm looking directly over the windshield. So that is good. I like that. I'm not looking through the windshield. And you know, I think that's a plus. And it's got, you know, got plenty of wind protection. And, you know, it's not going to be as much wind protection as, you know, a big full fairing, but you know, it keeps all the wind off your chest. You know, the only downside to having a bike like this is in colder weather like it is today, and you stay out long enough, your hands will get cold. And you know, you might want to consider maybe heated grips or something like that to take care of that if you do any serious riding in the colder weather. And I'm going to talk about heated grips in just a second, but those are all the positives I see of this motorcycle. I mean, you know, for a weekend light touring, it was great. And you know, as far as the luggage capacity, and that's kind of getting into my dislikes, the saddlebags. Saddlebags on this bike are a lot better than the old ones. They're rigid, they're leather wrapped, they're lockable. I like that. And they look fairly large, but they're not really that large. You cannot get a tremendous amount of gear in these saddlebags. You know, that little hasp that the lock catches on kind of prevents you from getting a lot of things in there, and it is a little bit of a problem if you really want to pack a lot of gear. Now, you know, I went on a 3-day trip, and the 2 saddlebags and this little tail bag that I got was fine. I like this tail bag that I've got. It's really fine, but I think I may eventually go with the sissy bar and maybe a bag that I could fit over the sissy bar for future trips to get a little bit bigger, you know, bag on that I can put a few more things into, because these saddlebags are not really that big. And if you're doing any serious touring where you're going to be gone more than a couple of days, you're definitely going to need some additional luggage on this machine, or maybe want to even consider going up to one of the touring bikes where the saddlebags are bigger, maybe even a really big one like the Ultra Classic where you can get the trunk. The second thing about these saddlebags is I give them like a 5 out of 10 on the quality of these bags. To me, they're slightly flimsy. Sometimes they're a little difficult to latch. I think Harley could have done a better job on these saddlebags. Again, I think they improved them from, you know, what they were before, but I think they could have did a little bit better of a job on the saddlebags. And the last thing I guess I'll say about, you know, dislikes, and this has nothing to do with the stock bike, it has to do with the upgrade that I did on the bike. You know, I put these Dominion mirrors, which I love, and these Dominion grips and Dominion gas cap covers. It's all, you know, they're all black and it looks good. But after riding for, you know, about 3 days straight and going, you know, 500-600 miles, these grips, these knobby Dominion grips that you see right here, are really not all that comfortable, to be honest with you. I had the Kuriakin ISO grips on my old Suzuki, and those are super comfortable. I didn't really ride with the stock grips on the Heritage very long, so I don't know how those would have been. But I think I'm gonna have to change these grips out. And what I've decided to do, courtesy of my son, who's gave me a gift card for Christmas. He gave me a Harley-Davidson gift card for $300. What a great son, huh? So you might want to think, what could I spend $300 on at Harley-Davidson? And I went into the local Killer Creek Harley-Davidson dealer that I bought this bike at just a few days ago, and I was really torn between the sissy bar and luggage rack and all of that to improve the luggage capacity, or heated grips. And you know, in Georgia, you know, heated grips you might use 2 or 3 months a year most, so I was a little bit hesitant to spend the money on heated grips, but in the end I decided to. So I bought the Kahuna heated grips, and I'm going to take it to the dealer this week and have them installed. And you know, on days like today, I think it'll be a great thing. I mean, there are plenty of sunny days like this in the winter down here where it's just a little bit colder, and I'm pretty good with my pants, my leather jacket, and keeping warm, but my hands just get cold so fast, and I decided to go with the heated grips. They were less than $300, which was good. I'm going to have to spend some money to get them put on. I think it's going to take 2 hours of labor, and their labor rate is $120 an hour, so that's not going to be really great. But I just decided to do it, and we'll give them a try. You know, they look like they'll be more comfortable than these Dominion grips, and I hope it'll extend my riding a little bit, because I told my wife, I said, I really have been disappointed. Since I came back from my trip in North Carolina in October, I can count on maybe one hand the number of times I've had my bike out. It's either been work or life-related issues or weather, and there have been plenty of days when it's been in the 30s or 40s and very sunny like this, and I was just like, I just can't get out. My hands will freeze pretty quickly. So I'm going to give these heated grips a try, and we'll do a review of them when I get a chance to do that, and we'll see how it works. So that's about it. That's my thoughts on the touring capabilities of this motorcycle. I'll do a one-year review on the whole bike in general and kind of go over the mods that I've done to it again to show you that. But I wanted to just kind of give you my thoughts on my first road trip. I still think I made a great choice with this motorcycle. You know, styling, looks. I like the classic look. I like everything about it, and like I say, probably my only gripe with this with this bike was it didn't come with the full LED lights and these saddlebags. I give them a 5 out of a 10 if I had to rate it. Okay, guys, hope everybody has a great week. If you can get out and ride, do it. Ride safe, everybody. So long.